Okay, this next lesson is about time management. So, time management is actually a myth. You can't manage time. We all get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can't manage time. You have all those times except for 2 times in your life: the day you're born and the day you die. Every other day, you have that amount of time, okay? So we have to have life management, not time management. We have to manage our time or our life around the time we are given, okay? Your time is the most precious thing you have, and it's running out every second. It's actually scary to think of it that way. Like every second we're alive, we're closer to our last day. But the good thing about it is that it's a level playing field, all right? Presidents of countries, billionaires, millionaires, professional athletes, crazy successful people, they all have the same amount of time you have. They're not given any more time than you. You have the same amount. One of the biggest features of a successful person is how they manage their life to squeeze out as much time or as much production within the time as they possibly can. If you can save 60 minutes of wasted time, you will gain 32 working days a year. So if you can save 60 minutes of wasted time per day, you will actually gain 32 working days a year. Isn't that unbelievable? 60 minutes is all we have to do of wasted time. I'm going to get into some really, really easy way as a technician that you can gain 60 minutes per day. So you can gain 32 working days a year. Think of it. That's working almost a month and a half, because we don't work 30 days a month, right? We only work about 20 days a month, right? So this is about a month and a half. So just imagine you have all your bills paid and you worked an extra month and a half of the year. Look how much extra income that would be. If you can save 60 minutes of wasted time a day and work an extra 30 minutes per day, that's actually 8 paychecks, 8 weeks you'll gain of time. That's a long time. That's a lot of extra time, right? So that's almost 2 full working months a year. What would you do with 8 extra paychecks a year? Okay? So here is some common time wasters that technicians, this is where technicians fail. Smartphones. Smartphones are the worst thing when it comes to time. I'm guilty of it. How many times have you got locked into a YouTube video or a Facebook video, or you're on Snapchat, or you're talking to a buddy on the phone and about fishing or hunting, or even your spouse, you're talking about all kinds of things on the phone. You're wasting time. You're losing time. Your life has interfered with the time you have been given. Sleeping in. You guys, don't sleep in. Yes, we have to sleep. We have to get rest. 100%. But I promise you, if you go to bed early, you'll get up early. If you're going to lay in bed and watch TV till midnight or 2 in the morning and then fall asleep, it's no surprise that you get up late a lot. If you go to bed early, you will get up early. I promise you this works. I promise you. And you're going to say, Kent, it doesn't matter at what time I go what time I go to bed, I always wake up late. Your body has to get used to it. It might take weeks, months, maybe even years, but your body will adjust. I promise you, your body doesn't know what time it is. It doesn't. So you can trick your body into thinking what time it is. It's all up here. That's why I said you got to get your mind in the right spot. Being on time instead of early, or being early instead of on time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let's think about this. If your first call is between 8 and 11, and you show up right at 8 o'clock, are you ahead? No, you're on time. If you show up at 9 o'clock You just wasted that 60 minutes that you're trying to gain. So let's get there on time, or we could get there 15 minutes early. If we got to 3 calls a day, 15 minutes early, we are ahead by 45 minutes for the day. Right? Close to 60 minutes, close to 32 extra working hours a year. So, 32 working days a year, not hours. 32 working days a year. So what I used to do, if it was an 8 o'clock call, I would be in front of that house at 7:45. And I wouldn't call ahead until I was right in front. And then, if I seen a light was on in the house, I would go knock on the door. If I didn't see a light was on, I would call and say I'm 15 minutes away. Or 5 minutes away. Say I'm down the block, I'm running early, I'm 5 minutes away, even though you're parked out front. Okay? We can gain 15 minutes just by doing that. And I have technicians who are like, it doesn't matter what time I get to the house, I always get home late. That's all up in your head. Logically, you can't argue that. If you get to their first call at 8 o'clock, you will get home at a certain time. If your jobs run exactly the same that same day and you start at 7:30, you will get home a half hour earlier. You have to. Logically, it's the only way. Now, your mind might play games on you. Sometimes we don't even try to waste time through the day. But somehow, by a lot, we just know it's noon and we have extra time. So we spend extra time on the phone. We spend extra time taking lunch. We don't call the office and try to get to another call earlier. We just, for some reason, we don't even know it's happening, but we waste time so much, okay? Parking lot meetings. These are one that kind of drive me crazy. So here's an example. We have training, right? We have training at our company in the morning from 7 to 8. But for some reason, nobody leaves the shop until 8:30. What are you doing in that half hour? What are you doing? I don't know what it is, but unless it's like a manager huddle or you're meeting with somebody that's scheduled, you're a half hour behind for the day. Don't have parking lot meetings. You know, the meetings after the meeting that we talk about all the things we like or don't like that happened in the meetings, or we're just BSing about a job or whatever. It's 100% wasted time. You're going to get home a half hour later than you would have. You're going to get home past dinner time instead of at dinner time. That's the choice you're making every time you do it. And I see it day in and day out with technicians, and I don't get it. I just do not get it. Truck stock. This one's huge. The most expensive part on your truck is the one you have to drive and go get. That's the most expensive part you put in. Let's just think about this. Let's say we're at a house and we're an electrician and we do a job and it's 4 o'clock and we get done with the job and we realize we were short one switch plate. Now a switch plate is like 30 cents, maybe 50 cents now, okay? A 50-cent plate. We're like, I didn't restock my truck. So now I'm out of switch plates. So now I'm gonna get in my truck, I'm gonna drive in the start of rush hour traffic to a Home Depot. I'm gonna park, walk across the whole parking lot, go into Home Depot, have to go all the way back to the electrical aisle, find the plate I want, walk across the entire store, stand in line, check out, walk across the entire parking lot, get in my truck, drive back to the house and install that plate. How long do you think the minimum amount of time that would take? Every time I talk to technicians, they think probably on average at least an hour. So you just spent an hour on a 50-cent plate because you didn't restock your truck. How many times does this happen? We actually ran a report, and at one time, one of our department of electricians spent 8 hours in a month driving around getting parts. 8 hours they drove around to get parts. My gosh, They spent an entire day. That's one guy's wage all day long. They drove around just to get parts. And we have a system and procedure here at Service Today to fill your truck. You just have to do it. You have to call after every single job and order your parts to avoid that. Otherwise, you will get in this hole. Here's another common mistake that happens. Well, I'm out of plates, so I'm going to order 50 plates so this never happens again. Well, I promise you, my friend, you're going to use 50 plates and you're going to be right in the same spot again. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is before you turn the key to leave the job, you order everything you used on that, and it will be delivered into a bin that has your name on it, and you'll get it back in your truck. But you got to do it after every job. You will not remember later. You will not remember in the morning. You might forget things if you do it right after the job. So don't do that. Set yourself up for success. Get out of your own way. Fix the problems before the problems happen. And here's the other thing. We run into problems in homes all the time, right? Like, we get in the middle of a job and it goes to crap, right? It happens all the time. So if you start your day late, nothing's even gone wrong yet, and we're already behind. And more than likely, something's probably going to go wrong. So we have to buffer for that. That's why we need to start early, okay? A dirty truck. If your truck is trashed in the back and you even spend, let's say you spend 5 extra minutes every time you're looking for a part or a tool throughout the day. Let's say you spend 5 minutes per job. That's 15 minutes per day you're looking for a part. Well, in 4 days, my friend, that's an hour. You just gained your 60 minutes on one of the days because you have a clean, organized truck. That's if it's stocked and you can find it. And hopefully after you spend 20 minutes looking for a part, you realize you don't have it, then you drive and go get it. Now we just spent all kinds of more time, okay? Coming back to a job. So once you become a technician, you're going to have what's called a closing rate, an average ticket, and then a dollars per call. Now, what dollars per call is every time you step foot in a house, on average, you sold X amount of dollars of work. So as an example, if you had a $1,000 per call, that means every time you step foot in a house, whether it's a safety inspection, whether it's a maintenance call, whether it's a repair call, on average, you sold $1,000. Now, sometimes you're not going to sell anything and you only get $79, and sometimes you're going to sell $5,000. This is an average of all that. So, if you had a $1,000 per call, and you're working at a house and you only have an hour left of work, let's say you have an hour left to finish the job, and it's 5 o'clock, and you're like, I got to get home. It's 5 o'clock. You know, my wife's going to be upset. Whatever the case may be, right? Or I just don't want to work anymore today. Going up north, right? I'm going to go up north. I want to get home. So I'm going to call the office and I'm going to reschedule for me to come back here on Monday to finish. Well, if you take up a whole time slot to come back, you just lost a $1,000 job. Because statistically, you sold $1,000 every time you step foot in a house. Now you can't step foot in another house because you scheduled to come back to a job. So you lost a $1,000 sale. So don't do that. I understand some jobs take long and you have to do multiple day jobs. I get it. That's fine. I understand. But to be the most successful you can be, it is in your best interest to never come back to a house if all possible. Make sense? Or I don't have the part on my truck, so I'll just come back next week sometime and put this whatever in. You're better off going to go get it, coming back if it's a special part. If it's not, it should be on your truck, and putting it in this time slot so you're not taking up another time slot, okay? And the office, we're here to support you. So let's say you sold 3 projects at a house, you don't have a part for one of them. You can call, get that part delivered to you while you're working on the other 2 projects so you get out of there. It's in your best interest to get into another house. It's in our best interest for you to get into another house. Okay? So these are common things I see technicians do. And I listed a bunch of them. But if you add all those up, I'll guarantee you're probably at more like 120 minutes a day of wasted time. One thing that I did not talk about, maybe I missed it here, but getting gas in your truck. Gas station stops. Now, if you're the most efficient gas station person there is, you're going to lose 15, 20 minutes because it's just going to take that long to fill up your truck, even if you pay at the pump. But what I see most technicians do is they put the nozzle in the truck and then they go inside and they start shopping. And they start looking at bags of chips and types of pop, and they're giving out free samples, and then they come out and their truck's done pumping and it's been done for 20 minutes. You just wasted now probably 20, 30 minutes because you decided to do it now. Let's do that at the beginning of the day before your first call. Before your first call, fill up your truck, restock your truck, clean your truck. Do it before your first call or after your last call. Now, in the service industry, we don't know when we're going to end our day. Some jobs go good, some jobs go bad. Sometimes we're on call and we have to run emergency calls. I would get in the habit of starting your day at, let's say, 5 a.m. I'm going to wake up every day at 5 a.m. At 5:30, I'm going to clean my truck. Then I'm going to go fill it with fuel, get my snacks or lunch for the day, whatever the case may be, and be to my first house, no matter where it is in the Twin Cities, or whatever city you're in, and I'm going to be parked out in front of that truck 15 minutes before my first call starts. Then I know I'm 15 minutes ahead for the day. My truck is full. I don't have to make another stop. There's 30 minutes. I already got my lunch. I don't have to do that. Now I just gained another 30 minutes. Bam! Made my 60 seconds or 60 minutes right there. That is my lesson on time management.